I pledge of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming to the Becker's regular meeting, February 3rd, 2025. We will start the night with a presentation on track. Pictures first.
As well. Track is a committee that was formed together raising area kids. It was formed about, we're about 2014, I think it was formed in response to some specific events that happen within our community. There is a couple suicides that had occurred, and we formed a committee on the school district along with community members, and we discussed what we could do to provide support to our students. And so at that time, we had quite a few individuals, not only from the school, but also from the community. Our youth, our pastoral committee came, and so we've been meeting for a number of years. And I would say over the past 5 years or so, our group has dwindled. And we just recently met over the past couple of months and talked about how can we kind of reinvigorate our track committee, as well as include the community much more than we have in the past. Much of the items that we've done in the past has really focused around school. We know Becker, our city and our school, we look at the school as a hub of Becker, and really we look at that. And I can say, just even looking at the football game, you go, when we went to the championship game and you saw all the community members come, it truly is. Becker School District is the hub of the community. With that being said, we've started expanding and looking at how we can continually reach our students, reach our area kids, utilizing our resources within the community. So I'll turn it over to Brian and Dale in regards to our next steps on what we're planning on doing.
All right. Well, we, as Chantel said, is we really want this to be a community focus on kindness. And so we met with the Becker Chamber in December to see if we could get the business partnership on board, having them join us in this venture on kindness. And they were very supportive. They reached back to us and they want to help us with this venture. And we've also met with the clergy in our community and asking them if they would want to partner with us with this venture on kindness. And they're very willing to do that as well. And so we wanted to kind of share this with the school board. We'd like this to be a part of our schools, within our schools too, with a focus on kindness and getting the momentum going along that way. We're also going to be reaching out with the city council to ask for their partnership. So we've had some of these organizations a part of us in the past, but we really want to get a new kickstart going and everything else like that. So we have a theme that we'd like to present, and it's called Becker, Minnesota, Creating a Community of Kindness. And it's something that we can embark on as a school. The city can embark on, the businesses and the clergy can, the churches can embark on, so that our focus is on how do we create that community of kindness.
Yeah, really, a big part of that is just getting everybody involved in that. So part of coming here tonight is just to gather your support, and I don't doubt that we'll have that. But as Mr. Christensen said, just talking with the city leaders as well, the community, getting them on board will help us spread this message, because really that was what we were really looking for. How do we drive this as more of a community function than just as a school function? As Chantel said, or Dale said, we kind of floundered a little bit within the last 5 years. People have left the committee, not because they didn't like it, but because they've gotten onto other ventures and things like that. So now we're kind of saying, hey, we got to bring this back, looking to bring some students back into the fold as well, because their voices are very, very important to this piece. And really, when you think about, I'm going to pull this up here. When you really think about our vision and mission, this really factors into this. Purpose of track is to foster a safe and healthy environment for the Becker community by promoting mental health and resiliency. And we really want to look at our students as we do this, but to do that, we have to have the community on board, and we really want to think about how we're going to spread that message. So we've got some ideas as to how we're going to present that out to the community. Will it be quarterly? Will it be once a year with one grand theme, and then quarterly we utilize some type of theme within that on kindness is which we're talking about. So we're still thinking about how we're going to do this, but I think it's going to be a great kickstart as to how we do this. And we'll certainly be looking for some support and ideas from you guys as well. So anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, one of the next steps is we're going to create a logo. And so we're going to involve the students in that logo. And there's going to be a challenge for them to be able to design what that logo would look like for our theme for Becker, Minnesota, a community of kindness. And so they're going to be challenged to come up with something that we will create this logo and hopefully have it as a decal that can be put in the windows of the businesses so that the businesses that are supporting it could be put in brochures as we're supporting our community and throughout, so that when anybody is looking at Becker, they have that message, they have the theme that we are a community of, creating a community of kindness and showing support for each other so that everybody has somebody that is helping them out to know that they're cared for.
And we have 2 board members that have been part of our track committee. And so if you have any additional questions, I'm sure they're happy to answer as well, as they've been part of this journey, our new journey in this looking at creating the kindness and bringing in the community. So we're excited about it. We're ready. And we're going to be meeting with the city council in a couple of weeks as well. So any questions that you have for us, or even comments by Corey and Troy at all?
For spearheading this. They've done a really nice job of trying to get out into the community, out in front of the community, taking time out of their schedules. Like they said, in December, they went and met with the chamber, trying to get some of the businesses in our community on board, and sharing that message. So thank you to you 3 for kind of spearheading that lead.
And just kind of to chime on to that, the last meeting, I think, was probably more people attending than I've ever seen, which is due to you guys getting out there. And I also think, just thinking, not necessarily out the side of the box anymore, but thinking a little differently and opening it up to Zoom and making it remote, that I think that opened it up to a lot more people in business that may not be able to make it to an in-person meeting. So I think we're on the right track.
Thank you for
Thank you.
having us.
Thank you
today.
guys.
All right, thank you guys. All right, bringing us to item number 2, reports. We will start with our student report.
Yeah, so in the past month, boys hockey has a record of 6-13-2. They're on a 3-game winning streak right now. Each player has improved this season as a player and as a teammate. The girls hockey team is headed into sections this week, playing Mound Westonka, Southwest Christian. The team's record is 7-18. Girls basketball is 11-9 now. They've been playing really well recently. They are starting the second round of conference games and are off to a great start with 3 wins already. The gymnastics team is wrapping up their season with 2 more varsity meets left. They have a conference record of 4-2. The dance team had their sections on Saturday, February 1st. They received second place in their section for both jazz and kick. Robotics has had a lot of late nights recently working on the prototype for this year's robot. The business side of their team has been making videos to share weekly on YouTube. Archery has gone to 2 tournaments. One was in Foley and the other was in New Prague. They have had very high scores both times so far. GSA has recently just competed in the Snow Days lip sync battle and got 5th place. The last meeting was spent creating choreography and sharing ideas on how to improve their performance. They've also had another little party where Dr. A brought a homemade rainbow cake to share. Student Council has spent the last month planning for Snow Days. They kicked things off last week with a pet fest where representatives from all of the year-round and winter activities performed lip sync battles. There are dress-up days and fun games planned throughout the week to raise school spirit. DECA just did their District 5 competition with 8 members qualifying for state. Speech has had 3 competitions, one of them being their annual Duluth Denfeld tournament. NHS has completed their 3rd blood drive of the year and has raised money by working wrestling concessions. They're also finishing up any individual service projects that were held in January. Yearbook has finished their 2nd deadline of the year. The team has put in a lot of work getting pictures and designing the pages.
And in the upcoming month, boys hockey is nearing the end of the season with senior night tonight. They've had some great games and played against some strong opponents. Girls basketball has a few more weeks until sections. Gymnastics is looking forward to the tough competition at sections, which will take place on February 14th to see which team advances to the state meet. Dance is excited to be returning to state this year. Robotics students and coaches are organizing a large-scale scrimmage to host at the new STEM Center in 2 weeks. Archery has a tournament every weekend. This upcoming weekend is in Princeton. They have 24 different practices over the weeks that people can choose from. Some are bullseye and some are 3D. In GSA, more and more people have been showing up regularly and making new friends every week. After the Snow Days dance this Friday, the Student Council will shift their focus towards fundraising and getting more students involved. State DECA will occur on March 3rd through the 5th. Speech has one of the biggest teams this year compared to the previous years, with a total of 16 members. NHS is starting their state service projects, which is a clothing drive and penny wars. They will continue to have individual service projects throughout the month. And Yearbook is starting to work on the 3rd deadline, which ends at the beginning of March. They continue to take pictures, conduct interviews, and design pages.
Any questions?
A lot of information as always.
Right? Yeah, you try.
Thank you, ladies. Moves on to superintendent's report.
Yes, the MASE Spring Conference is March 14th and 15th, and we're registered to attend that conference. It also aligns with the AASA workshops that I've been attending in the cities as well. The prom committee has started. Prom is set for April 12th. Grand March will take place in the afternoon, mid to late afternoon. Dinner and transportation this year, like they do in alternating years, will happen this year. The dance will take place at Abuele in Minneapolis. And they're working on costs and things like that, and is a different date than typical. It does avoid Mother's Day and the fishing opener. The graduation and robotics, I guess, in there as well. The graduation committee has determined the class motto. The opportunity to submit a speech for graduation has been shared with the senior class. The graduation committee meets again on Wednesday to discuss the class flower, staff speaker, the program, and other events related to the ceremony. And then the legislative session continues to remain uncertain. I think it's the 4th week of the session right now. With the recent court rulings delaying the House District 40B special election until March. Was the first 2 weeks. This is older. I wrote this last week, but I think this is the 4th week of the session starting tomorrow. With 68 votes needed for a quorum was decided by the judge. Negotiations between the House leaders are ongoing. The Senate has been moving smoothly under a power sharing agreement, and committee hearings are proceeded as scheduled. Kevin and I just received a notice today about gathering information on our tax exemption bill that we've done the last few years. And so they're gathering information on that, so hopefully we can get a hearing for that. Also, Jenny Lorenz from HR and I both testified on the impact of employee saving sick time and paid leave laws at the Capitol last week. And there's a lot of different things at the Capitol that are impacting education and things, but we'll have to see what happens in the House. And I do want to thank Senator Matthews and Senator Mecklen, or Representative Mecklen, for sponsoring that sales tax exemption bill again for both us and Big Lake. Hopefully get a hearing and we can get some movement on that. And then we also applied for a $1 million grant through the Minnesota Department of Commerce for energy improvements throughout all of our buildings. Ryan helped with that a little bit, and Kevin and Rick have also helped quite a bit with that grant. It's just under $1 million, like 999,950 or something like that. Cannot exceed them.
Any questions for Jeremy? All right, thank you. Moving on to other committee reports. Ryan, you have a community ed?
Yes, actually today I got to meet with our new community ed director, Jen Johnson. We had a really good talk and about the future and moving forward. She seems very motivated and excited. A lot of plans, working on the financial health of the community ed program, and the community ed advisory board since COVID has really struggled. So that's going to be one of her next objectives. I'll work with her to try to help build that up. We started working on that with Michelle before she left. but after getting the youth association board set up, kind of ran out of time before she retired. So really good meeting, fun to meet her, and I'm excited to see the good things that she can do.
All right, thank you. Connie, you have activities report?
Yep, so activities committee met last week, Monday, the 27th. And there was discussion around team captains, just who can be team captains with grade levels and, you know, sophomores and freshmen versus seniors and juniors, that type of thing. And then there was discussion on a co-op for boys lacrosse with Annandale. There's gonna be more information to come on that piece. Then there was also discussion about activities on Wednesdays. Do we do activities on Wednesdays, or do we keep those kind of as, you know, religious nights as we have? And it was kind of a consensus of everybody that we just kind of keep things as is, that Becker is kind of that, you know, we're not doing games and events on Wednesdays unless, you know, like the end of May, we may have certain sports in the springtime where those get put off, where we may have to do events on those days, but we're gonna generally be no activities on Wednesdays. And then last, we talked about girls cross country doing a preseason camp in August. And so that was kind of a the coach was wanting to do a preseason camp. And that sounded like kind of a fun thing for those girls to do, or I think it was for girls.
Yes,
if I'm
yep.
not mistaken. And so that kind of sounded like a fun preseason warm-up type thing for them to do. So that was discussed, and that's kind of what we talked about. Any questions?
So how did Annandale come up for lacrosse?
So that has been, the lacrosse coach right now is from Annandale, and his kids will be coming up, and he doesn't want them to not be able to play. And I think it's just kind of, there's some interest from Annandale. They would come this way, from what I understand. And so it's just kind of in the beginning stages of, do we open this up or not? Yeah, so it's kind of an odd place Annandale coming here, but that was kind of what the gist I got was the coaches from Annandale,
Right.
and just not wanting to see it stop for the boys lacrosse.
I think it's in the idea stages
Yeah.
right now. I think
Yeah.
they want to see if Annandale does have any interest in that, because the majority of the responsibility and the traveling and everything would fall on those kids, so. So,
It's in the very
Yeah.
preliminary stages right now, but
We're not looking for this season.
no,
Few games.
no, no, not.
yeah, it would have to be on the vote, I think, in the next month or two to even make it for this season, so.
All right, thank you, Connie and Pete. Pete, you have an ECFE update?
Yes, I had a chance to meet with everybody again. That's been was a little bit of a distance between the last meetings, but just this last Monday on the 27th, really good turnout. Jen, our new community ed director, was there, and it was a familiar face. I knew I'd recognized her from somewhere, so it was exciting to talk with her, and you could just see the gears spinning. She's got ideas all over the place, so excited to work with her. Couple things we talked about, updates for the 24-25 school year. ECFE, we currently have 8 different classes. The season kind of started out small or full, but now they're looking to fill a few open spots, but for the most part, they're pretty happy with current attendance. We've got 11 different sessions between pre-K and small wonders. 6 in pre-K and 5 in small wonders. So again, very close to being full. And staffing, fully staffed, and our subs at this point have been pretty solid. So excited about that. Lots of great events. Again, they do a great job getting the word out on the website, social media. Gym nights coming up on January 30th and March 17th. STEM night, February 10th. Fun with bubbles and water. I understand the last time was a great event, so they're bringing that back. Dad's night, Dad's Pizza Night over at Pizza Depot. Again, if anyone's not taking advantage of going there and participating in one of those Pizza Depot events, they really go all out with it. She does a great job. She brings parents and the kids back. They make their own pizza. They get to eat that said pizza when they're done. It's been pretty good. They've done t-shirts and stuff like that. So we appreciate their work. Again, highly recommended. Grandparents' Day coming up on May 15th, and really anybody can go to that. They do a great job with that. Another exciting thing is that they're working on is a place called Imagination Place City. And I think we've brought it up a couple times, but Dale has kind of spearheaded this. He used to take his grandkids to this place, I believe in Buffalo. And I brought some pictures if you guys want to check it out. And basically what it is, it's these imaginary locations that you can go to. It's all set up in kits where you've got grocery stores, a pet hospital, a deli, a diner, and again, I've said this before about that staff. Whenever they see something that they really get excited about it, they go all out. They've been out touching base with a lot of the Lions clubs and have raised over $10,000 for this adventure. And this is going to go right in that big opening between right by the new gym over at ECFE and the robotics center. And they got that big open space there. So again, thanks again for all the work that they do over there. But a lot of exciting stuff. And let's see. Again, no big changes in fees, but they are looking at it. They are always open to event suggestions. So throughout the community, if anybody has any ideas on new events, please reach out. And lastly, they are probably going to go back to a paper registration here for the next few years. The online didn't quite work, so I think they're waiting for kind of a more universal online style registration that the whole district can get, can use and get behind, I believe, before going back to that. But they've had more luck with the paper registration. So again, if anyone would like to look at that, let me know. I can pass these down. Any questions?
All right. Thanks, Pete. Last report we have is on facilities. We met 2 weeks ago. And we're in the stages of closing things down. I think you said we got 9 contractors left that are to wrap things up and finish up. Gym floor has been installed. That was installed over Christmas break. Dealing with some humidity issues, so we have some humidifiers that are running and looking at pricing out, adding some of those to the building to make sure that the humidity stays where it's supposed to. Currently gathering bids on our roofing projects that we've talked about over the years. So gathering bids for that, and it'll be a 2-stage deal. We'll do part of it this summer and then part of it will be next summer. So those are the upcoming deals we have going on. So anything I missed? Yep.
I forgot because we really didn't have a committee meeting for calendar. Jeremy did send out the proposed calendar. We're doing virtual over email for suggestions. So I think we have to have those in by the 14th, and it's part of the agenda today to present it to people.
Right. Any other reports that were missed? So, all right. Moving on to item number 3, consent agenda. I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
We have a motion to accept the consent agenda as written before us. Is there any questions or discussions? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Brings us to item number 4, the resolution of accepting donations. Jeremy, you want to speak to this one?
Just the same as every week, or every month, I mean, the donations. You got a couple, one from the National Football League, And I think a lot of these are going toward that play area as well. So Clear Lake Lions, ECFE, and then our big school-based partnership foundation in there as well. So thank you to everyone who donates and supports our school. We have wonderful support through that, like we talk about every month.
So I will entertain a motion to accept donations.
Make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
We have a motion to accept donations as written before us. Any questions or discussions? All those in favor say aye. All opposed, motion carries. Brings us to item number 5, the school year calendar. You want to speak to that one?
Sure, and Troy had spoke about this a little bit, but this year I emailed out the calendar draft that I had, just get some feedback from that. I gave everyone till the 14th, and so this will be a first reading. It's what is attached here, this 25-26 calendar. It's a little bit different format than what I emailed out. But it has the same dates on it and things. So a lot of 4-day weekends. We didn't do a spring break again. Part of the issue we have with spring break in years where the holiday break is 2 full weeks is we run out of days unless we want to go into, the 2nd week of June or something like that. We could do that. There was some discussion about having 2-day week in December, that 22nd and 23rd. But I'm not a big fan of 2-day weeks, particularly around that time too. It just gets tricky, and who's gonna be here for those 2 days, but not be here for, other times as well. So try to do a lot of 4-day weeks. It almost looks like it's very, very similar to what we have this year for a calendar. And so we'll see what feedback. I've received a couple of emails back, but nothing that would change this or anything that was missing or anything like that. It is short days if you count up the days, because we have some extra time, I guess would be, or days that are calculated in there, which would be conference times and dates. So there's not a full 183 teacher days that are on there, because we've backfilled those with conferences and open houses and things like that. So.
Right. Is there anything else for tonight's agenda? All right, brings me to item number 6, meetings adjourned. Thank you all for coming.